Hi, my name is Lisa Mailley, and my presentation is based off of the Chapter 1 of Inquiry as Stance, Practitioner Research for the Next Generation by Marilyn Cochran-Smith and Susan Little. And based off of Chapter 1, it is titled Practitioner Inquiry in Trying Times. And I'm not sure if you can tell or not, but the picture or the graphic that's on there is a picture of a gentleman. See if I can zoom in here. There we go. And with all of his things in his head spilling out or coming out, and his question is, what is leaders? Which seems to be kind of the focus of this chapter based off of inquiry and research. So the first segment that I have here is based off of the history, and from the 1980s into the 1990s, the focus was on professionalism of teaching and the enlarged roles of teachers, the enhanced teacher leadership. And after No Child Left Behind and into the late 1990s, the focus became more on the standards movement, the accountability, best practices, outsiders designing plans for whole school improvement, and then de-emphasize the roles of teachers as decision makers in the classroom. And the reason for this is because the fact that due to the education and economy, which I think is the next slide here. Nope, it's not. Hold on. Up there it is right there. Education and economy, policymakers and other school proponents propose that students who have an array of knowledge and skills needed to thrive in the new society, in the new knowledge society. So practitioners, researchers question the fundamental goals of teaching, learning, and schooling. And this is based off of the fact that in the economy, low-level work was now being done by machines or outsourced to developing nations or to the lowest bidders. So therefore, the majority of jobs available are the high-paying jobs requiring knowledge and skills, which they determined that our students were not prepared for that. They did not have the skills nor the education to succeed in the world, or to compete in this global environment. So therefore, it came down to accountability, and the accountability movement now dominated the discourse for reforming education. No Child Left Behind testing, school progress, graduation requirements, teacher preparation, and professional development was the school-wide initiative. And once again, the emphasis is placed is reflected in the recurring language of outcomes, results, the effectiveness, evidence, monitoring system, test scores, adequate yearly progress, and the bottom line. Teaching is now an agreed upon knowledge. Teachers need to ask higher level questions, and forming relationships with students, parents, and other professionals to interpret multiple data resources and posing problem-solving practices. And then from there, the chapter talked about evidence, science, and the scientism. Scientifically based research, evidence-based research, rich data sources, analytical techniques, scientific best practices, policies to increase achievement and improve teaching by providing universal education to a large diverse population was now the focus in school districts. So there's no longer the trial and error theory-based educational fads or unproven practices that drive our pedagogy and our knowledge skills. It's not all based off of research-based. And then we go into taking stock in the major themes in teacher inquiry, practice, research. And from here there were basically 5 themes. Theme number 1 is taking an issue of equity, engagement, and agency. And in this section they spoke of classroom, school, and program-based investigations, network and cross-network initiatives, students as researchers, and social actors. Basically what that falls into is during the No Child Left Behind inquiry-based text, focusing on issues of equity, more complex interpretations of concepts, practitioner-based classrooms, and school-based studies, student engagement through improved content area pedagogy. So from there was several programs or organizations such as the National Writing Project, the Bread Loaf Teacher Network, both of them are focused on equity, the Philadelphia Writing Project, which groups of parents, teachers, and students form a participatory inquiry group to study school reform from diverse perspectives. TAPA, which is Teachers and Parents and Students, is a parent leadership in school reform and parent-educator relationships. There is the National Writing Project, which researches equity through inquiry using local newspapers. Then there's other organizations that focus on gender equity in education, etc. Students as researchers are the key facet of teacher research, practitioner inquiry, connection between teacher research and student inquiry. And inquiry with and by students allows the learners to empower themselves to take different stances towards their education, acting as agents for change in their school and community. So that all fell under Theme 1. Theme 2 was developing conceptual frameworks. And the subcategories that fell under Theme 2 included theorizing the practice of teaching, theorizing practitioner research, methodologies and methods, and ethical considerations. Sorry, I'm having a difficult time speaking tonight. In Theme 2, they spoke of several people. A few who I'll mention here is Patricia Carini's collection of essays, what it means to be exquisitely attentive to children's thoughts and meanings, and to the thoughts and meanings of adults who are responsible for teaching children. There's also Sonia Nito, and she wrote a book called What Keeps Teachers Going and Why We Teach. So she also looked into what inspires teachers and how they relate to students. Gerald Campano in 2007 also wrote about what would it mean to develop curriculum that acknowledges our students' unique social identities, not as problems, but as profound sources of knowledge that could help us illuminate aspects of our shared world and inform the ways we conceptualize our pedagogies, which is a very, very interesting topic and something that I personally would like to consider reading at some point in time. Also within Theme 2, in the chapter they spoke about Langshire and Noble, who disputed the notion that teacher research is inherently non-qualitatively and that it exclusively involves direct research in classrooms. And what they argue is that teachers learn by researching a variety of topics, including policy, communities, social class, work, world, and non-standard language varieties. So a few other gentlemen, Campbell, Groundwater, both explore challenges faced by other professionals such as the legal, nursing, and social workers. They wrote a book, An Ethical Approach to Practitioner Research, which focused on the ethical issues of those professionals and the relationship among the practitioner inquiry and the practices of institutional review boards. Theme 3 is the investigation and reinventing communities of inquiry. Accountability was now the focus on student outcomes and high-stakes testing. So under this Theme 3, there are subcategories such as the affordance of new technology, local groups and national research, cross-national communities, grassroots national professional organizations, and foundations. Many practitioner networks supported inquiry communities in addition to the need to address standard-based, policy-driven pedagogy and assessment. So organizations such as Bread Loaf Teacher now became the Bread Loaf Teacher Network, which was now BreadNet, to link rural and urban teachers through technology to create new relationships across boundaries of location, race, culture, and language. The development of new programs and research hubs for interactive intellectual communities where both teacher and students can participate. There were also national professional organizations such as the North American Action Research Alliance, which encourages the exchange between health and human service fields. The National Council Teachers of Education, NCATE, the IRA, the International Reading Association also have different links and inquiry-based organizations and programs where research is also funded and provided. Let's see. Under Theme 4, Shaping School Reform and Educational Policy, the subcategories included schools as sites of change, organizing to inform policy, academic research and teaching, and school-university partnerships. In Theme 4, basically the use of research to shape school and district reform and educational policy was discussed. There was the encouraging students to inquire into their own school and school systems as far as how their practices go, and to basically empower students to become involved in the shaping of the school reform. Theme 5 is Reforming Research and Practice in Universities. Subcategories include the visibility of practitioners, research and academic literature, the academic research and teaching, and school-university partnerships. In this theme, they also considered the inquiry movements, efforts to alter relationships of knowledge, practice, and power in universities. Programs in language literacy, teaching, and curriculum, higher education, and leadership offer formal preparation to practitioner research. So basically, I just lost my other page of notes here. Yep, can't find my other page of notes. But basically, each one of these themes touched on, excuse me, let's go back to the section here, touched on to taking stock in the major themes in teacher inquiry and practitioner research, how teachers can use the resources that are out there that are available, the different organizations, to become better teachers, to become more involved in the actual research and the practices in their school districts. Also, bear with me here. Okay, so also recapping the policy and the political climate in the U.S. education, the chapter also touched on how the politics played a part in the education and economy, the reason why we are now in the push for the 21st century learner, the evidence that supported it, and then the accountability on how we go about achieving this. And of course, back to the beginning was based off the history, and how we needed to inspire change in the way we teach based off of the different standards, from the becoming professionals and engaging, enlarging the roles of teachers, to now becoming standards and accountability. So I found the chapter to be a little, let me see if I can't get back to the beginning now. I found the chapter to be a little difficult to understand at different parts. However, the things that I did find very interesting were the different organizations and resources that you can go to online to be able to access different researchers and inquiry systems throughout, more of a global research. So I did find that part very, very interesting, and that is the end of my presentation for Chapter 1. Thank you.